Okay, carbon fiber. So what's so special about carbon fiber? We see it in fighter jets, we see it in race bikes, stuff like that. And what is so special about it that we use it for all these different applications? Well, that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So just to briefly summarize, right, carbon is a reinforced composite, and this means that the strands are aligned in polar matrix, and then usually at the end of it all, we put epoxy on it. And I think the best way to start off is knowing what it is actually made out of. And basically, polyacrylamide is the number one used, you know, material for 90% of applications within carbon fiber. And what we do, right, is we take these fibers of polyacrylamide and we heat them really high temperatures, I think 200 to 300 degrees Celsius, and it gets rid of all the oxygen. And in doing so, it leaves only behind essentially carbon. Then what we do with these fibers, right, is we sort of interlace them into a matrix fashion. And the reason we do this is, well, one, it gives it the great look that everyone knows it for, but it's actually really important because these bundles of fibers called tows, they're interlaced in those specific patterns, like weaving threads of cloth. But the importance of it all is that it spreads out the load. And what we've learned in our class, right, is that fibers are strongest in the longitudinal direction. So essentially, when we do this sort of interlacing pattern, it's sort of all on that same plane, evenly distributed. And that's really important because that gives a lot of the strength that we know carbon fiber to be. So in regard to application and mainly what this material sort of provides for us, I think this stress strain graph is really important because we use epoxy with carbon fiber. So this carbon epoxy graph shows exactly how brittle it is, but how strong it can be, and it is one of those. When we show up the stress strain graphs and there's three sort of curves, this is one of those materials that kind of just fractures and gives up after the maximum amount of strength is put through it. It doesn't really deform much. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of all of what I have to say for carbon fiber, and I hope you guys have a great day.